Good afternoon, class of 2017. Okay, so I have 3 confessions to make, the first of which I will explain now, whereas the other 2 will come towards the end of my speech, so don't fall asleep. The first is that deciding on what to speak about today was an overwhelming process, to say the least. How do I condense 4 years of formation into a 5-minute speech? Well, turns out you don't. It would be a total injustice to all of our college careers to try to do this, to try to explain what we've learned, why it's important, and how this knowledge should be and may be translated into future action. So instead, today I want to share with you an extension of what started off as a project called This I Believe that I was assigned last fall as part of my real analysis class. That semester, I wrote about how I believe in the power of eating dessert every day. This is what I want to talk to you about this afternoon, but there are 2 chapters to this story. Chapter 1, My Sugar. Eating daily a small brownie or dish of ice cream is a simple way to remind my never deviate from the rules self, for those of you that know me, to live in the moment. Yes, it is only one part of my day, and honestly, it's less about the fact that it's dessert and more about the fact that it provides a moment I can literally savor. Indeed, it may only last for 3, 5, 20 minutes, but it is a commitment to take a break from frantically scribbling in my planner, thinking, worrying, and stressing out about the next 3, 5, 20 minutes. I will go out on a limb here and presume that many of you have perhaps felt similarly during your undergraduate career. Perhaps you can relate to rushing from breakfast to an 8:10, to a whole host of other classes, scarfing down lunch during a lecture, scrambling to complete a little bit of homework, getting some exercise, going to work, attending the 7 to 10 class maybe, and then finally starting on the bulk of your studying you have for a test tomorrow before collapsing into bed. Life can sometimes really feel like a grind. So, by dedicating a portion of my day to sugar consumption, I am trying to actively avoid falling into the culture where the number of hours I work a week is translated into some sort of status quo. So, I would like to think that this has a downstream effect on my other habits, helping me to enjoy food as just food, and life as just life. So, with every square of dark chocolate that melts on my tongue, and every bite of tiramisu that is the perfect combination of coffee and cream, I am reminded of why a small dessert plays an essential role in my evening routine. So, Chapter 2, Your Sugar. Family, friends, teachers, P-Plant workers, P-Safe officers, other staff, but especially the graduates of 2017, here is the challenge that I propose. Find your dessert. Find that thing that you can do every day that gives you pause and centers you in the beautiful life you have been given. Maybe it's just lying down, maybe it's writing in a journal, maybe it's taking a walk. I do not know what will work for any one individual, but I do know that life is crazy and it has a knack for getting increasingly more complicated as time goes on. Fellow pilots, you will almost certainly forget many of those lessons you learned in ethics, theology, metaphysics, environmental science. You will lose perspective. Sure, the material will stick with you in many ways, but let's be realistic. You aren't going to shuffle through the variety of ethical theories before you make every decision, especially not when things might not be going as you had planned. No matter how many times you hear how lucky you are, how privileged you are, how you should think about how much worse off life could be, stress will cloud your judgment. Little things will seem like monstrously impossible obstacles in the moment. And when those truly catastrophic, tragic moments inevitably occur, sorrow may try to eat you up. So, here's the second confession, hope you're awake, which proves my earlier point. Even though I took a year of physics, I had to relook up what I'm about to say. The law of conservation of energy states that energy can be neither created nor destroyed. Rather, it transforms from one form to another. My hope for all of you, and for myself, is that if we have a metaphorical dessert in each of our respective toolboxes, maybe things might seem just a little bit more manageable. Maybe we can transform that energy being used for stress and anxiety into positive energy towards all of the many things in our world that could use some fixing. So here we are at confession number 3. I don't have some grand conclusion for you. I wish I could conclude with a perfectly phrased sentence that would send chills down all of your backs. It would be convenient if I could talk about the future and all of the amazing things each and every one of us will inevitably do. But again, this isn't fair, because life is so unpredictable that there is no concluding statement that will prepare any of us for whatever comes our way. This speech is about what you do have control over, which is the decision to truly live in the moment just a little bit more. So, all I have for you is a challenge. Go forth and find your little daily dose of joy. Once we do that, we can stop talking about the future and start living in the present. From there, we can see how the future shapes up. Thank you, and go Pilots!